Hey everybody, welcome to JJ's Home Living. Today I'm going to show you a video of how I got my pressure canner tested. I did not know that you were supposed to get your pressure canner tested. I called my county extension office here and they hooked me up with the guy from Clemson who does the testing. And so I went in there. It took maybe 4 minutes, maybe. But I will show you in this video how he did that and how easy it is, just to make sure, because mine is a dial gauge. And so he just hooked it up just to make sure the poundage was right. And it was. I've had this canner for, it was my mom and dad's. So it's an All-American canner, but it was still holding its own. It actually was a pound above what it was shown on the gauge. So on the gauge, when it showed 10, it was really 11 on my canner. So that's kind of good to know, because I would rather it be over pressuring than under, so my food can safely be canned. So I hope that you find this video helpful, and maybe you didn't know you were supposed to get yours done either. But like I said, I've been canning for over 20 years with this. So it's doing good so far, and I got some stuff canning right now in it. But I hope you find this useful and helpful.
I'd like to take a look at everything else if I can see it. The Americans don't have the true gaskets.
Right.
That still looks good. I wonder if that, yeah, it comes all the way off.
Yeah.
Well, you can check that it's clear through there. It's one of the things I always try to remind people of. That's one of the things where people go wrong, is not making sure that's clear,
Well,
so you can actually
I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming it's some kind of a safety thing, but I mean,
see, I'm just wondering if it's like just a backup space for another gauge, because these older ones don't have that extra safety feature. That's what we tell a lot of people. The new ones, if you get a new one, you'll see it's an extra little rubber gasket here, and it just blocks it.
Okay.
And it's an absolute fail-safe. So, you know, if it goes all the way up into the caution, like you know, for some reason you get distracted or whatever, you don't notice it, the very last thing, that rubber piece will fly out and it will vent all the pressure.
Okay.
So then it will just go until it runs out of water, but it will never explode. That's kind of, and these older ones don't have that.
Right.
That's one of the things we always tell people, like, you know.
Well, I know I got to babysit this one.
Exactly. And you don't have that. You just gotta, it's okay. You have a lot less margin for error if you ever were to forget it.
I've been using this one probably for about 25-ish years.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, that's what I tell people, is like, they always, you know, people call and ask for recommendations, Presto, American, whatever brand. Yeah. It's like, if you're going to know you're going to get it and use it for a long time, Americans are worth the investment. Because you take care of them, they last a lifetime, then you can pass them on to another generation, and that's still probably
Yeah, this used to be my dad's.
Exactly. They're worth it. All right. And then, let's see if this will fit without having to lift the whole thing up. Some of them do, some of them don't. Because some of these, American specifically, it doesn't like to be on this stand, because this is from Presto. So I think Presto made it to fit theirs more comfortably.
Right.
But it works this way too. So. Pump that one up to 5, and then we make sure the pressure matches.
Okay.
As simple as that. And then we check it at 5, 10, and 15.
Okay.
And then I do it 3 times at each one to make sure it's truly accurate. Pump that up to 5. Sometimes it goes a hair over. And then you match it here to see what it actually is. Okay. And just that way you know that this dial's actually, you're not going in blind. You know, you have your device, you're only as accurate as your measurement devices are. Awesome pressure there. Yeah, perfect. So 5, yours is reading 6 over by 1. That's okay. If it's ever off by more than 2 at any one of the 3 pressures is when we recommend replacing it.
Okay.
So I've yet to see one that's 100% accurate at all three
Okay, got you.
pressures. So that is nothing to be concerned about. One more time at 10. Getting this thing right on 10 is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just a bicycle foot pump. Only so much control you have with it.
Right.
Same with that one, it's reading 11 instead. Still okay.
It's better that it's going over than under, right?
Yep, exactly. That means you were just, if you were getting at 10, that means you were just over processing by 1, which is not
Bad thing.
at all. Exactly. That's what, when I teach my pressure canning workshops, that's what I always emphasize. I'm like, a little over pressure, no issue. A little under pressure is a big problem.
Well, a lot of my recipes say I have to stay at 11
Yeah.
pressure-wise. So I'm usually like at 12.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, because I mean, the worst you're going to get if you over process is a little softer texture. I mean, and canned food's it has that soft texture anyway.
Right.
Tomatoes, soup, green beans, whatever it is. Always emphasizes that if you're you got it right at like your recipe calls for 10 and you're at 11, don't obsess with trying to get it right on 10 and end up going under and having to start all over again.
Yeah, that's a bad day.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who's got time for that?
Exactly. And so this one is at, it's reading 16.5 over. So it's still completely within tolerance. So I'm gonna make a note here, like I do on all my sheets,
Okay.
just so to make it easy to remember. So you will process at 5. Take your dial to 4, technically. So once you're at 4 psi, you're actually at 5.
Okay.
Let's make a note of all that just so you can, so I tell everyone too, just keep this with your canner until next time around, and then that way you'll remember and you know where your
Got a
readings
gauge.
are at.
Okay.
And then next time around we'll put the new one in. Just always keep, I'm gonna make you a copy when you leave so you'll be
Okay.
able to keep it with you.
Alrighty. How did my pressure canner measure up to his testing? I think it did pretty good. When the master gauge said 5, mine read 6. So when his master gauge said 10 pounds, mine said 11. So this made me feel better because now that I know mine is reading more, I would rather have it reading more than reading less, which means my food is a little bit more overcooked and it was a little bit more overprocessed, but I'm okay with it. I would rather have it being over than under, especially. I would not feel safe doing it that way. And then he went through and just looked at all my parts of my canner and said it was in good working order. So we are good to go, which this just makes me feel better. Again, this is just a precaution. You don't have to do this, as I've used mine for over 25 years without getting it tested because I didn't know you had to. So, but for me, it was just, now that I knew that I had to get it done, or I didn't have to, but it was recommended to get it done. So I thought I would share this with you, and I hope you found it helpful. Take care, and God bless.